Welcome to the O Show, your number one podcast for everything training, mindset, and nutrition. I am your host, Oren McCarry, and it is my goal to help you access the best information around to allow you to kick ass in the gym, in the kitchen, and most importantly, in your head. Between my own experiences and those of my amazing guests, I'm confident we will do that. So let's strap in and level up your life starting right now. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. Welcome to today's episode of the O Show. I am your host, as always, Oren McCarry, and I am here with the lovely Gem Ursino from Huntress Physiques. Gem, how are you today?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, mate. We were talking for about 15 minutes before the start of this because we haven't connected in like at least a year, if not longer. And I mean, it's so good to chat to you. Like, you've been on the list, so everyone will know who listens to these frequently. I like to spotlight other trainers because other trainers in Perth do fucking awesome stuff and they deserve a little bit of a shout out. I mean, you're one of them. I just love what you've been doing with Huntress lately and all the photo shoots. So I can't wait to talk about that and just talk about you and your journey and everything about Gem in the next sort of 30, 40 minutes.
Thank you. I know it's crazy we have to get on a podcast to have a good catch up. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to catch up with you and speak about the couple of changes that have been going on the last year. Lots of new things. So that's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's go back to the start because I think it's all been about photo shoots, right? Because I found out about you through when you've done the Huntress series with Josh Porter for the clothing label. And I think he kept tagging you. And you know the way you see somebody's name every so often and then eventually it popped up, must have said, you know, you might know this person, like, and we started following, we started chatting each other. I think he came up to Doherty's and trained once with me as well.
I still remember that shoulder session. They still hurt thinking about it.
So like, we've known each other for a few years now, and like to see your growth as a trainer, where we started out just as friends chatting about, you know, about training and everything and what we're doing in the industry, and then your growth has been awesome. So let's talk about Gem. Like, let's talk about your passion for the fitness industry, how you get into this, a little bit about yourself, anything that you think's relevant. Let's just go to town on it.
Okay. Well, I guess the passion for fitness it's really been around forever. I was quite a professionally trained dancer and acrobat all through my childhood. So I've always been very athletic and quite structured with my training. And I mean, I had a bit of a 180 one day, actually in a math class at school. I kind of woke up one day and was like, that's it. I'm not going to be a dancer. I'm not going to move to Sydney. So 16 years of training kind of went overnight. And I had a bit of a random obsession with Michelle Bridges, who my mum at the time was doing one of her 12-week programs. And I was just like, I wanted my own TV show. I wanted to run boot camps. I wanted to train everyone. And I mean, obviously, it's funny looking back now because I have quite different ideas to how to approach fitness than someone like Michelle Bridges does with those big programs. But I loved it. And so in my math class, I sat there and she was the ambassador for the Australian Institute of Fitness. And I signed myself up in my class, and I didn't realize that because I was underage, my mum would get the phone call to say, hey, your daughter's not 18, we can't talk to her, but she's signed herself up for a fitness course. And so I got home from school and my mum was a bit like, what's this all about? Like, Perth, I've never heard you mention Perth. And the next week I came up and signed myself up, and 6 months later I was studying and ready to go. I got into the gym. My first time ever holding a barbell was actually in my first lecture. So I'm glad that it's worked out for me because I'd actually never stepped foot in a gym before. And then I kind of just got into it from there. That was 5 years ago now, which has gone really quickly. And that's where it all began. I did my course, which was 3 months long, and that's it. That's where I started.
Nice. And then you said about your approach to fitness and how it's changed since that, like Michelle Bridges days. So what's your philosophies on how your target market gets in shape? Like, what do they maybe do wrong, or what do you see a lot of that you like to sort of fix and correct with clients that you work with, and sort of how do you go about that initial change then?
I think the biggest thing that I see often with ladies is just that constant living in a deficit for their entire life. And I mean, I even remember when I first started training, it was that time where like they were doing 30-day challenges and everything was so short term and so drastic. And I think that's what I work on a lot with women, is trying to teach them that not everything has to happen in 30 days and things don't take 2 seconds to get you to from A to B. It takes time. So just retraining those bad habits that they've got from thinking that they could just cut their calories to 10 calories a meal, basically tic-tac water diet, as we used to say when I was a dancer. But yeah, just like teaching women that they can eat, and it's not about always doing the most and eating the least, and trying to teach them that food is not the enemy and training doesn't have to be a punishment. And all of that has kind of been my philosophy, which I think a couple of years ago that probably wasn't such a big deal. Like, we didn't really understand how eating chronically low food made such a bad impact on us long term. So I just think educating women on food and helping them create a nice balance and giving them a long-term goal, so teaching them to come in and out of the deficit over time and not just sticking to it long-term is important. So that's what my philosophy is now, which I think when I started, it was definitely a don't eat carbs, do 50 hours of cardio a day, don't train weights, you'll get huge. So just like changing that mentality really has been my goal as a coach.
Nice. And then judging from everything, like, it seems like females is your niche. Like, is that because you want those females to not go through the same mistakes you made, or like to learn from your mistakes, rather than obviously like a male who maybe you can't relate to as much?
I think that naturally with the photo shoots, I definitely do attract more females. Like, I think that if I worked with too many males in group photo shoots, it'd become a bit of a fireman's calendar vibe. And I'm not really sure how to attack that just yet. But definitely, I think like as women, we're critiqued so much on what our bodies look like. And I think that I've learnt that lesson quite early, and I can make an impact on how women see themselves and how they feel about their bodies and in their skin, and teach them not to fear the gym. And I just think naturally women definitely gravitate towards me because it's the message that I'm trying to get across. So yeah, I would say that women are definitely my target for sure.
Yeah, awesome. And I think you've got a similar approach to me. Like, you have some photo shoot things where if somebody doesn't look quite right, coaches will remove them and say, listen, we're not quite there, let's take them out. But you've kind of got this message that anyone can do this. Like, we're about showcasing you at your best and how sexy you look and how beautiful you are at any size, really. And that's something that I used to, when people would go to sign up for a photo shoot that I would be running a few years back, they'd be like, oh, do you think I can do this? And I'd be like, of course we can. It's a snapshot of that one day of where you're at and your journey over that time. It doesn't need to be where you're paid like a bodybuilding competitor or anything like that. And I think that's what I really like about your message. It's like, it's not like one size fits all. It's like, yes, you work to get these women feeling sexy, confident, but it's not like they have to fit a stereotype or they don't get to do the shoot. Everyone gets to do the shoot. They just have fun with it, and it's embraced it at all sizes and all points of their journey, I guess.
For sure. And I think that it's so easy to fall into the trap of, if I'm not peeled, that's not good enough. And we miss those milestones in between. Like, this might be a photo shoot now, and it's probably not going to be the best physique that we achieve later on. But when is the end point? Like, I just don't think there is one. I think you should always be improving. So let's capture the improvements that you've made now, and then we can do that again in a year's time and see your next lot of progress. But I think, like, if you look back at my first photo shoot, I thought I was the bee's knees. Like, I thought I had hit my jackpot. Like, that's what I wanted with my physique. And then the next one I beat it again, and the next one I beat it again. And I just think I'm so glad I have those photos, because it represents a big part of my fitness journey of where I was at the time. And I think it's good to encourage women to feel like they don't have to fit like a certain criteria or they're not good enough. I think any progress, like not just physical as well, like some females, even just the language that they speak about themselves is completely different. Like, they may look exactly the same, but the respect that they have for their body has completely changed. And I want to give those women a place to be as well. I think that's really important, to celebrate all wins, not just, okay, now I'm peeled.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And like
Yeah.
you said, the goalposts always change. Even when somebody's peeled, they think it's their best. But like you said, you thought you were there and you were the bee's knees, and then suddenly, you do another photo, you're like, I'm so much better here. Like I've progressed so
Yeah.
well. And I think even like, and this is a testimonial to your creative side, the whole photo shoot side, when you look at where you were then, not just physique, but the whole everything, it's got so much better because like you're involved in the shoots that your clients are doing. And I don't know whether it's just like you're so happy, like you're doing it with your clients and everything, and you're creating everything, and it's exactly what you want, versus probably when you first started out, it was you would show up and like you'd be directed by a photographer a little bit. I could just tell it's more of your style. You just seem happier, and even the picture quality then is better, regardless of the physique improvements, because your creative mind is getting to work on this. You know what I mean?
For sure. Like you look back at my first photos and it's a little bit like deer in the headlights kind of vibe. Like I'm so rigid. Whereas now, like I think I've just come into my own a little bit more, and it's nice to see. I even had one of my clients, Jess, did a photo shoot last year, and seeing her on set this time was just like a whole different girl, like just the way she moved and stuff. So I definitely think over the years I've got more confident, and I know my angles now. I've taken enough photos. I know what looks good and what doesn't for myself. So yeah, it's fun getting a bit more creative with the styles now as well, and the themes of the shoot.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah, and I was just saying to you, like I kept you waiting for a minute here because I went to share a photo of you, and I found the video of the latest shoot, and I was like, let's watch this before I post it. So I posted it,
Yeah.
and then I watched the whole thing, and then it said in the waiting room, Gem is waiting, and I was like, I'm gonna have to keep her waiting for another minute because I want to finish watching this
I
video.
want to finish this video. I know Jake did such a good job. So I'm stoked that we've added the video on it as well. It's like I'm going to create these little mini video series so I can remember what happened on all of the days. Because hopefully in 10 years' time, when I watch back, we're creating even bigger production days. And it will be fun to look at these little ones. And I can't wait to see how much they change, like what these days will look like.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. And I think what I enjoyed seeing was there was one of the shots like sort of midway through where you're actually posing everyone into what like the perfect position was, and you got your client lying on the ground and she's looking great, but then you're moving her arms slightly or moving her hips, and then you see like the end product, like right after that clip, you see like what the actual photo turned out
looks like.
And I was like, that's pretty cool, because she's getting involved and she's like, oh no, try putting your hand here, or you're slightly moving them. And then you see in the outcome, and I was like, that's pretty cool that you're so hands-on with it as well.
I treat them like Play-Doh. Sometimes like it will work in my head and I try and move their body. I'm like, oh God, their arm doesn't move that way. I can't get them into that position. Or I say my neck's cramping. I'm like, I don't care. I want this shot.
Yeah.
It's funny. But no, I do enjoy it. It's fun. Like I think that coming from the dancing background as well has really, really helped, because I think I have a better understanding of like poses and ways that your body can move, and it just comes a bit more naturally. So it's nice that I've been able to put that 16, 17 years worth of dancing into use, because I think my parents probably would have slapped me if I didn't use it in some way for that much time. But no, it's good. I love the posing side of it. It helps me, I guess, combine my job and what I love doing with fitness and my passion with styling and posing and all of that stuff. And I get to do both of it at the same time. So it's good.
That's killer. That's really good. That's really good. And I don't know about you, but I find that whenever I used to run the photo shoots, and I don't do them anymore at the moment, but I used to find that people were always like, in the weeks leading up to, even like right before the shot, they were like super nervous, especially if, like you said, it's their first time and they're a little bit like deer in the headlights, but like they slowly warm up into the shoot. But if anyone's listening to this now and they're maybe thinking about reaching out to do a photo shoot with you or book one like by themselves or whatever, what would you say would be the key things to sort of relaxing a client on the day and sort of just letting them, I don't know, relax into it and be less deer in the headlights and more like, you know, that badass bitch who's ready to fucking shoot?
I always say to people, first of all, do your worst outfit first. The first 5 minutes are probably going to look a little bit unnatural, but for people that I find don't move their body or maybe not know how to move their body as freely, I always get them to have props so that they can do stuff with their hand. It's a little bit more candid. We can take 100 shots in a matter of 10 seconds. So in that frame, if you're just moving naturally, we're going to get a bit more of a relaxed pose to some degree. So I think just like relaxing, breathe, remember to breathe, don't freeze, like you're allowed to move. The shot will be taken 10 times in 1 second. You'll literally get a relaxed pose in some degree. So you don't have to be like shot, 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 shot and moving like a robot. Just move. The camera will click on you, and just like relax, be yourself. If you're naturally a laughy person, I always get people giggling, and it just makes a nice shot. Like when people look natural and not like forced. I know that in my photos I have a bit of a stern bitch face, but I think that's kind of just my natural face. Whereas when I've got clients that are laughing and giggling, we always get such beautiful shots, and like they really like seeing themselves happy. And just be natural, giggle, say something funny. I'm always trying to say jokes to the girls on shoot. Even they actually laugh because they're not funny jokes. That's usually when I get the best shots. But yeah, just be natural and have a couple of different outfits, different props, so that you've got things to do with your hands. And then yeah, that's what I would say to do if you're new.
Killer. And then obviously this has blown up for you since you've started to do these, and we're talking about how busy they are. So let's just talk to people who might be keen on doing these in the future, like, because you're pretty booked up already. So if people are interested, when's the next time they can get in with Gem to do one of these photo shoots?
May. So May is the next group shoot that's got some slots open. I'm not going to tell you the theme yet, but if you jump onto my Instagram, there's an application form, and if you pop all of your details and stuff in that form, we can decide whether or not you could be ready for May. But we'll have May, July, October, September, and November next year. So there's going to be a few different slots. Yes, 10 slots in each of them. So you won't miss out, but get onto it quickly, because obviously the more time we have to prep you, the better the results. So
yeah, awesome.
May is the short answer there.
Awesome. And like the latest theme was like Miami themed. Like how do you come up with these themes? Because like obviously it's because you're quite creative, obviously, but how, like, what goes through your mind, and how many different concepts do you maybe throw down before you actually decide on like Miami or whatever the previous ones were? How do you get that far, and how many get thrown out before you finally decide, no, this is the fucking one?
Oh, I think I have 7 years worth of ideas based off. But no, it started off, that's actually kind of what got me into doing photo shoots for other people, because I had all of these photos saved and ideas that I've come up with, and I just can't do them all myself. So otherwise I'd be dieting for the rest of my life. So I kind of thought, okay, here, let's do a group shoot, because it gives the girls a couple of other women to experience it with at the same time, and a bit of a support network. And then I can kind of grab an idea on the types of women that are in that group. So for example, the July photo shoot was Miami, and I've coached all of those women for quite a long time, and they're quite vibrant and fun, loud women.
Yeah.
And that it just suited their personality. Like as a group, I just thought this is going to be the right fit for this group. Whereas my next group's a little bit more, they're softer, they're a bit more feminine. So the vintage lenses kind of felt like that fit for them. And I'm about to announce the November shoot, which is going to the gods. So that's going to be outdoors and very bronzy and glowy. And that group there is probably another vibrant one as well, which is nice, because I think that they'll be a bit more comfortable going a little bit more crazy with the theme. So I try and suit the ladies with the right theme that I think will bring out the best in them. But there's so many ideas. I just write them down. I write them down, and then I pick which one excites me the most at the time. So
yeah, sick.
Yeah.
That's killer. And then obviously you're PTing out of Revo. So let's talk about that, because I've had a few people on who do work out of Revo, like Shay Lam, who was on 2 weeks ago. They're quite good gyms to work out of. How have you found like adjusting to being a Revo PT then?
I have loved it. It's funny that you say adjusting, because I have always worked out of private facilities. So I really wasn't sure how I was going to go sharing equipment and dealing with peak time and all of that sort of stuff, and working with other coaches. But I loved it. Like I've loved it so far. I find Revo such a nice facility. Like I've got upstairs where I can do my check-ins, and the coaches have a really good vibe at O'Connor, which is fun. And I love the banter with the other members. Like my clients have jokes and made friends and stuff on the gym floor with their times, and it's nice. It's a good community there. I'm really enjoying it.
Good. Okay, perfect. And in terms of if people aren't interested in the photo shoots, but they want to come to see Gem for one-to-one stuff, how busy are you there? Are you full? Is there room? Is there certain times that they might be able to sneak in? Like, talk to me about that as an option.
I definitely do have slots for some Gen Pop clients and PT times. If you've got between 9 and 11 that you could come and see me, then I could definitely fit you in. The morning times, unfortunately for the early risers, I've had literally my very first client that I ever had still in those slots for 5:30. So I don't see that opening up anytime soon, but it's nice to have some of my original clients still following me along wherever I go, but they take the peak times for sure. So no one has very much luck filling those. But yeah, no, I definitely could take on some more clients. Nice. Early mornings, mid mornings.
Yeah, nice. And what would you say for somebody who's listening to this who wants to become a PT, whether it's, come to Doherty's, go to Revo, go to Good Life, what would you say was, like, based on your experience in the industry and getting to where you are now, like one piece of advice you could give for them starting out their journey? What would you hit them with?
Don't see other coaches as your competition. See them as people that you can learn from. Because I think I've always liked to surround myself with people that I know are smarter than me and know more than me, and I can learn something off. And I think that's been such a saving grace for me, like working at the Physique Code and getting to learn from Rich and Alice. Like, they are massive in our industry, and I think a lot of people would see them as big competitors, whereas I thought, oh my God, I'm going to learn from these guys. I'm going to ask them every single question that I have that comes to mind. So I just think that surrounding yourself with other coaches who have similar goals and targets with their clients, and I guess client bases and niches to you, is a great way to learn. So just don't segregate yourself, like use these people to learn. Yeah. And most people are really happy to tell you. Like, if I have coaches come up and ask me questions, like, I love explaining to them what has worked and what hasn't. And I think that it can be quite scary to go up to quite an established coach and ask them questions because you think that they're tricks of the trade or they've got all of these secrets, but I've never had that happen.
Yeah, no, definitely not. No. Like Perth is what, 2 million people at the last census, like probably more now, right? Like, if we all can't be friends and have our own successful businesses and all get along, and that's probably the good thing, is most of the industry do get along, but like, if you see everyone as competition, then like you're just going to be like trying to tear down other people's buildings rather than building up your own. And that's why I love just having other coaches on here, because one, it gets me a chance to network and like talk to you, talk to Rich, talk to Shed, talk to all these other people like Dan, like Alice, like everyone like has their own niche and their own client base, and we all can be successful. Like, nobody's competition.
Different personalities as well. Like someone that might work really well with me might not like your style, or someone that you work so well with might think I'm way too much, or just different personalities. People work with different people better than others, and I think like it's great that we can pass clients back and forth depending on what they need. So
100%.
It's good to get to know everyone.
100%. And like, I could use this podcast as my platform to just pump out and talk about how great I am. But, instead I'm talking to other great trainers, because it does advance the industry. It does get people to find the right clients or find the right coaches. And it's just good to connect. And that's what I think is different about the Perth scene. Like, everyone is supportive of each other, and everyone sort of has each other's back if they need it. Like, you need a little bit of advice, you just reach out to somebody and say, hey, you did this, have you got any experience? Like, what was your experience doing this one thing? Or, can I pick your brain about this one topic? Most people are like, yeah, cool, what are you struggling with? Let me help you here.
For sure.
DMs,
Yeah, I mean, online coaching is so big now. Imagine how lonely it would be if we didn't all engage with each other. Like, I just think, like, as much as I love PTing on the floor, our industry is changing. Like, we need to get along and learn from each other and ask questions and learn from each other, really. Be nice to each other. We've all got enough clients. There's a lot of unhealthy, overweight people who are ready to learn how to eat and how to train. And I just think there's so many people that need the help. Like, we're not competing.
100%. And then, Gem, what's next for you, right? We talked about the history, the photo shoots, the PT slots, like your best advice for newcomers. Like we covered a lot here, but what's next? Like, let's say we sit down on Tuesday, the 1st of September, 2022. Where do you see yourself in the next 12 months?
I see Huntress's team expanding. I definitely am at a point now where I'd like to expand the team and take on another coach. And whether or not that's for photo shoots or if I just do more of the photo shoots and they do the Gen Pop ladies who want to learn just how to eat and track their macros and do some PT. I'm not too sure what that looks like just yet, but I definitely want to see my community expanding. And if this time next year, I'm hoping that I can collaborate with some other coaches and bring on and style photo shoots for them as well. I mean, I'm one person, I can only coach so many people. So not everyone's into the styling and the posing, and that's what I love doing. So if I can take on some more photo shoots for other coaches and help them make their clients feel what my clients feel on shoot day, then I'd love to do that as well. So it's just going to be organizing a whole heap more photo shoots and doing bigger days, and I think expanding the themes. I think I just want to get a little bit crazier with some of the themes. So that will be next year's goal, and I'll have another set of hands hopefully to help that happen, which will be exciting. Awesome.
So guys and girls, you heard it here first. If you think you'd be a good fit with Gem, he's on the hunt for somebody who's the right fit, at the right time. So hit her up. She'll obviously talk to you about when that's going to be or how it might happen. But you can only get in there if you slide into the DMs. Like if you don't know, if she doesn't know that you're interested in working for her or learning stuff from her, then you're not going to be able to get that opportunity. And it's going to go to somebody else. So if you are keen, reach out, because obviously this is a platform for Jen to potentially fill her coaching slot. So it might be the 1st of November this year, like in another 2 months, you might already have filled that, right? And then 10 months worth of more growth.
That would be nice. I would love to have someone sooner than later. So the team's got to grow at some point. So if I find the right person, 100%, I'm ready to take someone on, and there'll be 2 Huntresses on the team.
Yeah, that's killer. Exciting. That's killer. Very exciting for you, man. Very exciting. So, man, let's do some quick fire facts to finish off. Let's just make it a bit of fun. It was very not that it was very it wasn't scripted, or it wasn't like very strict about what we were talking about, but let's have some fun. Like, let's learn about Gem. So one thing we've been doing like on and off random episodes since the Hattie one is talking about personal stuff, like that humanizing Hattie thing that we've done with Hattie Boydell. So let's humanize Gem. Like let's talk about your coffee, right? If we're having a coffee now, midst of winter, what are you having? What's your coffee order?
Almond cappuccino for sure.
Does that change in the summer?
No, it might be an almond iced latte, or an iced long black or something like that. But my barista is fighting with me at the moment, trying to convince me to change to oat milk. But I'm just not happy to give the carbs up. Coffees, I can't fit as many of them in. So, definitely an almond cap.
Oh, that's interesting that they're fighting with you to get the oat milk in. I was talking to somebody about this recently, how oat milk's suddenly like a huge thing, and it's like, where did it come from?
I do not know, but I'm not about it. Like it's like 17 grams of carbs for one coffee. Like, thank you. I'm sticking with my almond milk. But I do, apparently it's better for the environment, which is where I think that's come from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
listen, oats are pretty tasty, so like it could be a killer coffee with like that. Yeah, I can imagine it being pretty nice, but I don't think I'll venture that far myself.
No, do you think it'd be thick? Like that's what I was thinking. Like, would it be a bit grainy? But I don't know. I'm not going to try it anyway. I'm sticking to my almond milk.
We'll be on here in a year and we'll see if you tried the oat milk latte then.
Oh, imagine if I've changed.
Okay, let's talk about Gem's training, right? If you can pick one exercise for the following muscle groups, I'm just going to throw the groups at you and see what your first answer is. Yeah. Let's see what you'd pick. Hamstrings.
Cardio.
Delts.
Shoulder press.
Back.
Oh, I am loving chest supported rows at the moment, but that one changes all the time, but that's what I'm vibing right now.
So if it wasn't chest supported row, since it changes, what would it be? You get one more choice.
Just a seated row. Just a
Yep.
yeah, V grip seated row.
Nice. Okay. Arms, so both bicep, tricep. What's your choice? One exercise.
Put those in the bin. That is, they are the ones I get to at the end of my program, and I write to my coach Joey. I'm like, I just don't like these. But for biceps, I'd say maybe an incline curl.
Yep.
And then flat bar push down would be my triceps. Yep.
Nice. Okay. And then let's talk the big one. Let's talk booty. What's Gem's favorite booty exercise?
I'm going through a heavy hip thrust phase at the moment, so I am not loving them. But so at the moment, I'd say probably glute focused Bulgarians.
Okay.
Now that I've worked out how to load my glutes really well with those, I'm actually really enjoying them. So that's probably my favorite thing at the moment.
Picking Bulgarians makes you a little bit of a psycho, though, right?
I know, and I'm sure in a month's time I'll be saying I hate them. But right now, I just think like I found a little new technique of how I change like my angles a little bit more. So because it's new, it's exciting, I think. But I'm sure once it gets really hard, I won't be loving those so much anymore.
Yeah, awesome. And then what's your take on chest training in females? Because some coaches are like, yes, it's needed for the structural balance between front and back. Some are like, obviously you don't have the aesthetic needs that a male would for a pec. You've got a boob there instead. So what's your thoughts? Yeah. Do you program chest for females or do you not? What's your thoughts there?
It depends. Like a lot of my clients have implants, so I steer so clear from them. Yeah. But me personally, in my training, I like bench pressing. I found, it sounds weird, but I found that my lats have got a lot stronger when I'm bench pressing because I'm stable, like I'm stabilizing a lot better. And I definitely think that my overhead presses have benefited from having them in there. And that's only coming from someone who I probably hadn't bench pressed for maybe 2 years. It's only because my current coach has just started adding them in. It's probably changed my opinion a little bit on them. So I'm enjoying them. I do add them in for some females. Obviously, just depends on the person.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And what have we not covered? Quads?
Oh, I hate quads. I hate training quads. Probably just a good old leg extension for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that's the most, like, isolated bang for your buck, but some people are really sick and they love, like, cyclist squats or a quad-focused Bulgarian, like, with the heel elevated or anything like that, driving the knee forward. Like, but yeah, I think bang for your buck in terms of if you want to feel it and, like, really isolate it, that's got to be a leg extension, right?
Yeah, get the job done.
Awesome. Now, let's talk to, like, what's your sort of evening routine? Like, to just finish off here, like, when you chill out, like what does Gem do to chill out in the evening? Is it work, then bed, or is it like Netflix, pajamas and Netflix time, or what do you do to chill out basically?
This is probably the most embarrassing question for me.
Yes, I'm so glad I asked it then.
I wasn't expecting that. So me and my housemate, Ninzi, it's definitely not work when I get home. As soon as she's home from work, we're dancing and singing in the kitchen and having our dinner. I think our other housemate kind of looks at us like, who are these weirdos? But I don't know if you've heard of the show Schitt's Creek, but we get around that a lot. I actually just find that's like my silly time, like my time to just like laugh and have a joke and not think about work. Like the laptop's put away before I go to bed, which is something that I wasn't good at in the past. But I just think after a couple of years of, I think like just thinking that being a workhorse is the best thing, like you kind of learn that that's not the case. So I'm definitely more relaxed in the afternoons now after dinner. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I think there's a time and a place for work and there's a time and a place for chill. And as long as you get a decent balance, then that's how you survive long term in any industry. Because if it's all work and no play, you burn out, and if it's all play and no work, then you're broke pretty much.
Then you can't do anything because you're broke.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's awesome. That's exactly what I wanted to get out of this, because it's a little bit of an insight to you. That last question that just randomly came into my head, I'm so glad it was embarrassing, but that story wasn't as embarrassing as I thought.
No.
Like I thought it
would be embarrassing if you saw it. We're like dressing gowns on, like really, it's quite funny. Do you know what though? She trains with me now at the gym, and over the last few months we've both become quite comfortable with other people, seeing how we interact and dance and be silly, and we always talk in accents, and it's crazy, but it's fun. It keeps it lighthearted.
Okay, so since you think the visual of this is more embarrassing, I'm going to throw in now, everyone has to tag Gem and me, so I know this is happening. And we need to pressure her to do this. So you got to tag, screenshot now, tag Gem, say it at Gem Ursino. We want to see your evening routine. Just do a reel or something for us, and it has to happen.
I will send you something later. I'll send you something for you to share for sure. I've got so many videos of it happening, so for sure I can send you something.
Awesome, mate. Well, I mean, this has been about maybe 35-ish minutes, nearly 40 minutes. I think it's been killer. Good insight to one of Perth's top trainers and just good all-around people. So, mate, it's been great to reconnect, good to chat. And guys, if you don't follow Gem and you like clicking links, I'll put the link below. But if any, do you want to shout out your Instagram in case people like to just type it in manually when they're on there, Gem? For
sure. My Instagram is at Gem_Ursino, Ursino, and my photoshoot lookbook is Huntress_physiques.
Awesome. That's killer. So go and follow her. I'll put both links in the bio, guys, if you want to click. If you like to just go and search, you'll find, I'm pretty sure I follow both pages. You can just type it in from my end, or you can just type it into the search bar and you'll find her. But Gem, this has been awesome. I'm looking forward to getting you on in a year's time and seeing what changes are happening in the business and so what shoots you've done.
Yes. Very excited.
Yes, mate. Awesome. Well, good luck with everything. I'll be keeping a close look on the photo shoots and the development, and we'll catch up for a coffee soon, no doubt, and get a good proper yarn in when we're not on a podcast.
Yeah, that's it. No, for sure. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I love chatting with you.
Thank you for coming on. Awesome, mate. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me on today's episode of The O Show. If you know somebody who needs to hear this episode today, please share this with them via message or on social media. Don't forget to also take a screenshot and share it on your story and tag me at Oren McCorry so we can continue to grow the podcast and help more people change their lives with the advice given here. Also, keep the 5-star reviews coming over on iTunes, as that helps people who normally wouldn't listen to the show find it and get the O Show in their ears and drive the podcast forward to help more people around the world with the advice here. Have a great day, and I will speak to you soon.